DeWanna Bailout was brought in for leadership. She was brought in for leadership. And do you want to know all that these young players learned from her? If things don't go your way, refuse to show up. Continue to get paid a max contract while you are sitting out, refusing to play.
She got benched. She couldn't handle it. I want out. She's not playing well. She's getting criticized. I want out.
DeWanna Bailout? More like DeWanna Bailout. After a cryptic 5-game disappearing act chalked up to personal reasons, it's now official. DeWanna is no longer a member of the Indiana Fever. And the fans? They're not just disappointed, they feel sucker punched. This isn't about the stats, the hype, or even the veteran pedigree. It's about the why behind her departure that's got Fever Nation fuming. She was supposed to be the seasoned general alongside Caitlin Clark, the calm amid the chaos of a title chase. Instead, she ghosted the squad when they needed her most. But here's the wild part. This could end up being the best thing that happened to the Fever all season. Stick around, because we're unpacking all of it. And if you felt betrayed by Bonner, then comment "Good riddance DB" down below. Let's go.
When DeWanna signed with the team, she said at this point in her career, she's playing for championships and obviously have championship experience in those veterans they brought in. How much did that get to add to the culture or just what it takes to win at a high level?
Yeah, I mean, DB has been tremendous. Like, she's such a selfless leader. Like, she's here to win. She says that, but she really means it.
Back during the optimism-filled offseason, Bonner was hailed as the final puzzle piece to Indiana's big championship dreams. Her resume screamed leadership. Multiple All-Star nods, WNBA titles, and even at 37, she had gas left in the tank. The idea wasn't just to rack up points. She was there to lend playoff poise to a young, hungry squad that had just been knocked out in the first round. Remember, last postseason, Caitlin Clark and the Fever had real momentum, but lacked the veteran experience to push further. That's why Bonner was brought in, to be the seasoned anchor. And at first, she nailed the role, giving interviews full of optimism, stressing unity, and embracing her new teammates.
And also joining a team that's just impressive. I think everybody's seen the second half of their season, and it was an unbelievable season. And I just felt like they had a dynamic core, and I just wanted to be another puzzle piece into what they had. And hopefully I can give my knowledge, my leadership, and give it to these young players. So when I retire, they can pass it along. So I feel like they're young, but I also feel like they're a great young. They don't need too much coaching and too much leadership. They kind of figure it out themselves, and I'm just hoping that I can add to it and make basketball a little easier for them, and as well they can make it a little easier for me.
Fans couldn't get enough of her. They bought the jerseys, flooded her with support, and welcomed her to Indy with open arms. She looked thrilled to be playing meaningful basketball again, especially in a city where WNBA games were finally appointment viewing. Indy had become the hottest ticket in the league, and Bonner appeared to be thriving in that electric atmosphere.
I guess to that point, how does this kind of compare to what you are used to?
Oh man, yeah, totally different atmosphere. The support here has been just phenomenal. I really can't go anywhere. I've been here like a week and a half, and everywhere I go, it's just like, we're excited for the season. Thank you for being here. So it's been really, really refreshing. And,
you get that on the streets?
I'm sorry?
You get that on the streets?
Yeah, everywhere I go, it's just, can't even go to the grocery store without someone saying how excited they are. So it's just been really refreshing.
Even Clark, already shouldering the weight of an entire league, seemed overjoyed to have Bonner beside her. Clark called her a true leader, someone who brought steadiness and knowledge to a team loaded with raw talent. And when Bonner became the third all-time in scoring during a blowout of the Chicago Sky, everything looked picture perfect. But that high came crashing down fast. Her scoring plummeted to just 7 points a game, less than half of last season's average. Fans and analysts alike began questioning whether the Fever's free agency moves actually made sense. Was this roster built to support Clark's style? Did Stephanie White have a plan? Or was this a just add names and hope kind of offseason?
I don't know what Stephanie White's doing exactly. I don't have a clue. Again, I don't know what the identity of this team is. I really don't. It seems like they play a different way every game. One could say, well, that's her game plan. She's game planning for each team. How's that working out for you?
And then, just like that, Bonner vanished. After only 9 games, she disappeared from the lineup. The reason? Personal. The timing? Sketchy. Clark had just returned from injury in a big showdown with New York, and Coach White had also been out briefly for personal matters. So, naturally, fans gave Bonner the benefit of the doubt. But as the games rolled by and she remained out, questions started bubbling. No updates, no injury report, no clarity, just silence. And silence breeds speculation.
How is she doing? Is there any timeline for her return?
Yeah, she's doing well. She's doing well. Again, no timeline. I think it's day to day, and for us to just make sure that we're continuing to be supportive of DB.
That's when the whispers turned into full-blown detective missions. Fans noticed she'd scrubbed Indiana Fever mentions from her Instagram. Reports began circulating that her jerseys were no longer available in the team shop. Some even claimed her image was removed from the arena. Whether those details were true or not didn't even matter at that point. The fact that the organization wasn't saying anything just added fuel to the fire. Fans started connecting dots, and spoiler alert, they weren't wrong.
Multiple league insiders are reporting to Annie Costabile, of course Annie Costabile is breaking this news, of Front Office Sports that DeWanna Bonner has quote-unquote no interest in returning to the Indiana Fever, instead wanting to be in landing spots with either the Phoenix Mercury or the Atlanta Dream.
Soon, legitimate outlets picked up the story. Bonner was out. Period. All eyes turned to Coach White. Surely she'd offer some transparency now that the news was out, right? Wrong. Her response? Total radio silence.
Obviously, there were reports today that DB isn't or doesn't intend to return to the team. Just what conversations have you had with her and with the front office about that?
Yeah, I had a lot of conversations recently. Really been focused on the group that we have right here, and what we need to do to position ourselves to win.
Same with Bonner's agent. Not a word. And let's be honest. If any of these reports were bogus, it wouldn't take more than 280 characters to shut them down. But that silence? That said everything.
No comment is a comment. No explanation is an explanation. If we were trying to get back, we would have said, oh, we're trying to get back. We're trying to work some things out behind the scenes so both parties are satisfied moving forward. We don't even get that.
And now, the narrative we were sold, that DeWanna Bonner was here to mentor, to guide, to selflessly help this team grow, has been torched. According to reports, the moment her role was diminished, she mentally checked out. No more locker room leader. No more sideline support. No more helping Clark adjust to the media circus. Instead, Bonner vanished like a bad magician act, leaving her teammates to fend for themselves.
Multiple sources told Front Office Sports the fit in Indiana was off in the beginning. Bonner, who was signed to be an anchor to win with championship experience for the team's young core, was expected to be a starter. So basically, she stunk it up, got benched for Lexi, and was pissed. But it is what it is.
And look, we get it. No player wants to ride the bench, especially a future Hall of Famer. But leadership isn't about starting or scoring. It's about showing up when it's not about you. And when Bonner was asked to embrace a supporting role, she apparently said, "Nah, I'm good." Instead of leaning into the role she was brought in for, she bailed. And that's the part that's hard to stomach. Right now, Indiana Fever fans are feeling the sting. Think about it. They laid out the red carpet for DeWanna Bonner, welcomed her as a culture leader and mentor, someone who would guide this young core around Caitlin Clark towards a championship. During her unexplained 5-game absence, the entire fan base wasn't just okay with it. They were genuinely worried about her well-being. So the whispers that she might have left simply because she didn't like coming off the bench? That's gutting. What started as empathy has turned to confusion and is now seeding outrage. Fans feel blindsided, misled, and, yes, even betrayed.
She's on our team. We want to support her. Let's just give her some grace. And now we get some clarity on that situation. Now we get some understanding of that situation, and all of that grace can get thrown right out the window.
You have people fearing the worst for her family. You have people fearing the worst for everything. You have people saying that they hope everything's good with DeWanna Bonner. It turns out she apparently is just pissed off that she wasn't a starter.
Then there's the Instagram post. DeWanna's not one to snap selfies or drop meme-like posts. But the moment she's still being paid, still officially on the roster and mid-absence, she decides to post. Not a heartfelt comeback, not an update on her status, just a casual upload. Timing matters in media, and this hit fans in a raw spot. You don't do that during your team's game. especially when people are checking in on you. Whether purposeful or not, it came across as tone-deaf, and fans made it known.
She posted it during the game at like 11 p.m. At like 11 p.m.
So yes, small actions can land big blows. But here's where the story deepens. Sources are saying the trouble in Indy started long before the benching. Reports claim the on-court chemistry was a mess. Her performance dipped, averaging less than half her typical points didn't help. But beyond stats, insiders suggest deeper issues: personality, unfit role, and possibly off-court influences. Yes, rumors swirl about partner Alyssa Thomas's involvement. We might be hearing about basketball fit, but it's looking a lot more personal.
You guys remember what Alyssa Thomas said about the Indiana Fever fan base last year? And all the things that she heard coming from this fan base last year? That's off. You guys remember what Alyssa Thomas said about the Angel Reese Chicago Sky sham investigation, right? Oh, if Angel said she heard it, then we believe that she heard it. That's off, right? Right.
But here's the hard truth. The Fever's front office has real decisions on the table. They've known this drama was brewing. Sadly, keeping her on the roster past that point, especially at that $200,000 price tag, would have been a ticking time bomb. With no contributor value and no return on investment, her presence became a liability. They were between two bad options: trade her for nothing or waive her and clear salary cap space. Ultimately, the only move that made sense was subtraction by addition.
She got benched, she couldn't handle it, I want out. She's not playing well, she's getting criticized, I want out.
That decision wasn't just practical, it was necessary. Because the longer a player who wants out remains, the bigger the distraction to the whole team. It becomes a cloud of uncertainty. The Fever brass recognized that and made the move within 24 hours. It sounds bold, and they deserve credit for acting fast. But that's only half the picture. She's gone. But it leaves a bigger hole than just salary savings.
This opens up a lot for the Indiana Fever, as well as them having to scramble for what they're going to do next. Because, as I'm sure many of you know, Demiris Dantas, who is she is part of the front court of the Indiana Fever. She will be gone from the team after tonight's game against the Seattle Storm.
The roster shakeup is more than symbolic. The Fever are just a third of the way into the season. It's already been emotionally and structurally heavy. A hate speech inquiry, Caitlin missing 5 games, the Sun game where Clark got hit again, and then Sophie Cunningham stepping in with retribution, all under intense spotlight. You can't understate the emotional toll on Caitlin. This team, and frankly, the league, is built around her, and she's still battling.
Nonetheless, Caitlin Clark continues to struggle. One of the worst games of her career, if not the worst game of her career against the Storm. I don't even think she had like the playmaking prowess that she had in the first half against the Aces or the Valkyries. Still wound up with 9 assists, 8 turnovers though, 0 of 6 from 3.
The recent Storm game makes this crystal clear. Scanning Twitter shows fans and analysts have noticed Caitlin seems off. Less fiery, less sparkly. Sure, a rough game can weigh on anyone, but when the loss of a trusted mentor lingers, it erodes your mojo in ways stats can't show. That's emotional weight. Now, with Bonner gone, not just benched, but perhaps walked away, Caitlin is left reconciling unspoken questions. Why didn't she fight for me? Why did she leave?
I think for the challenge for myself going forward is just, continue to pour into every other aspect of the game, and I can continue to have an impact in, all those other areas. I thought I got to the rim well. It's just, certainly a tough shooting night, and, you got to find a way to continue to shoot and remain confident in myself, because I know I put the time in. But for me, I don't feel like it's anything that's off necessarily. But it'd be nice.
Now I promised a silver lining, and here it is. DeWanna didn't want to be here. To get to her exit, there had to be friction, resentment, or misalignment at work behind the scenes. So as disappointing as this is, releasing her lifts a cloud. Who needs a max salary draining cap space and contributing minimal production? Not this Fever team. The available cap space can now be used on players who fit. Not just talent-wise, but emotional-wise too. And let's talk quick fixes. Pace has been a talking point all season. Fever play too slow, grunt through possessions. But now, that open roster slot is perfect for younger, quicker legs. And fans are already buzzing because the Fever added Ari McDonald. Her energy, offensive spark, scrappy defense, and tempo brings immediate impact. Meanwhile, the veteran leadership box is still checked. Players like Natasha Howard and Sydney Coulson remain. That veteran core isn't gone. The tone setter just changed.
DeWanna Bailout was brought in for leadership. She was brought in for leadership. And do you want to know all that these young players learned from her? If things don't go your way, refuse to show up. Continue to get paid a max contract while you are sitting out, refusing to play. DeWanna Bailout is an absolute legend. And this is one of the lowest of the low things that I've seen in sports.
Still, questions linger. This loss of size up front, how will it be replaced? Will they target a shooter, another defender, or someone to share Caitlin's load off winding drives? The decision in coming weeks will be crucial to whether this mid-season reset has upside or if the Fever are mortgaging a playoff run for survival. Bottom line, removing a player who didn't want to be here strengthens the organization's unity and tone. It demonstrates that the organization values alignment over name recognition. And for Caitlin, that's everything. A cohesive locker room lifts her emotional burden, sharpens focus, and restores the joy on her face. Bottom line, when the noise dies down, Fever fans may look back and say, ditching the veteran who didn't want to be here was the move that showed this team has a spine. And Caitlin? Freed of unseen distractions, her fire might return in full blaze. If you felt betrayed by Bonner, then comment "Good riddance DB" down below. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.